Good evening, everybody, to another episode of Humans of Atypical, where we talk to incredible people and learn from their life journeys. Today is a very special episode where we have an artist or a poet. Actually, I'm confused, or both. Generally, typically, you'll find a fascinating artist or a fascinating poet. But here is someone who is both. She is none other than Shloka Shankar, and we learn about her life experiences and some amazing stories. Uh, so, welcome, Shloka, to Humans of Atypical.
Thank you so much, Vineet. I'm honored to be here, and
We are
thank you so much for
super,
the
ex-
kind invite.
we are super
Yes,
excited. I think. Uh, why don't we start with some interesting poetry from you, Shloka, even before we dwell deeper into your journey?
absolutely. I would love that, Vineet. So I would like to share a couple of my poems. These are both free verse as well as a few haiku. So here they go. The first one is titled "Wrong Keyhole," and this one has an epigraph by Li Yang Lee, which reads: "There are words we say in the dark. There are words we speak in the light. And sometimes they are the same words. We pruned language having too much time on our hands. I know what it feels like to peer through the wrong keyhole, discovering a galaxy of empty ideas. A hole in the world mends itself, gathering threads and the colors between shapes. You use a handheld mirror to view your melancholy in reverse, listening for an impossible future. The curtains long for moonlight. A scattering of voices paves the road to practiced predictability. I lock the door behind me with no one as my witness. That was the first one. Here's my second poem. This is titled "You Didn't Get Afraid Like That Overnight." Fear is a joint lubricant. I land back in my body, leaning to the side like magic. A twinge in the air keeps me from falling over the remains of my whole life, words bubbling up, mouth locked shut. Here's my third poem, and this one's titled Rebirth. You can't see the other side until you are there. What are they going to do to us? Life is a game we all intend to win. A static crackle towards the far end of reason sounds different with the loss of control. We just squat here, waiting like buzzards until our rebirth. Next, I'd like to share a couple of my haiku. Haiku are typically three-line poems. They're Japanese inspired, kind of Japanese short form of poetry, which I've been dabbling in since about 2014. So here are a couple of my poems. Winter Dusk, the hive mind of crows. Winter Dusk, the hive mind of crows. Dangling modifier, the stories we leave incomplete. Dangling modifier, the stories we leave incomplete. This is the last one. Autumn deepens, I hang another day on the nail. Autumn deepens, I hang another day on the nail. Thank you.
Wow. Shloka, these are so beautiful. Like fear is a lubricant. You can see same thing, same words in the dark, same words in the light.
Right.
Life is a game. I had like two personal questions Is it linked to disability? Because I find it very resonating to any disability. So has it been inspired by your personal challenges or disability in general?
Um, Actually, that's a very interesting question, Vinny. So when I write, it doesn't consciously come to me. I don't set out with a particular theme in mind. And this particular one, which you just cited now, which you just quoted, the fear is a joint lubricant. This was actually a found poem, which is one of the workshops I regularly conduct for both children and adults. And what found poetry is essentially is you take a text and it's an attempt to find your own voice in the words that are there. So if I were, for example, to give you a Shakespearean sonnet and ask you to erase that particular poem, 9 out of 10 times, even if I give it to 60 people, we'll all end up with 60 different poems because at the end of the day, all poetry is subjective, right? So you're going to be seeing certain words that I don't see, and what resonates with me might not really resonate with someone else. So fear is a joint lubricant. This came to me at a time when I most needed it. And that's why I say found poetry is all about finding your voice in any text.
Okay, I was finding my voice in your poetries. So, in fact, for people who don't know Shloka, she conducts spoken poetry workshops for corporates and individuals. So, you could directly reach out to Shloka, or even Atypical Advantage could connect you to Shloka. Her profile is listed with Atypical Advantage.
Right.
So, you could do that also. But this is so interesting. I'm fascinated by almost all the poetries, and I was like searching for my voice in the first and the second one. uh,
Thank you so much,
so
Puneet.
that was amazing.
Thank you.
Shloka, everyone of us has a very unique, interesting story. We in fact want to hear your journey, especially about your challenges with disability, and how did you uh, evolve from that. Like, just coming to my experience, I can tell you that every disability is different, and every journey is different in terms of acceptance. A lot of viewers who are watching here, think that acceptance comes in a day or a month or year. How was your journey like with muscular dystrophy?
So I was diagnosed with this when I was about 9, and my condition is progressive. So I didn't have a choice but to accept the fact that this is going to be how it's going to be. So, but like you said, Vineet, I think I've been very fortunate in terms of the community I've had, right? Whether it was school or college or even later on. I've just had like the best of friends possible who've always been extremely supportive and never felt like an outsider as such at all, in fact. So uh, it's kind of been a privilege, in fact, that to have so many people who care for you and who are there for you no matter what. And that kind of continued even in my poetry journey, because like I mentioned, I was introduced to haiku in 2014, and haiku really changed my life for the better. um, because I found my truest expression in haiku, and the community that I've built, like whether it's through my journal Sonic Boom or my imprint Yavanika Press or any other thing for that matter, it's just this sense of solidarity and coming together. And I've never let my disability be in the forefront because not many people even know this, to be honest, right? So only those who are really close to me kind of know that I have muscular dystrophy and stuff. But otherwise, it's always been only the people who are very close to me who actually know this. So I have not really put it in the forefront at all times. So yeah, unless you've really kind of been in the real life, and I have more of an online persona because obviously I keep jokingly say I've been on lockdown since 2012. So uh, that's kind of it. But otherwise, I think it's been a very, very rewarding journey, Vineet, and I've just been so fortunate to meet the people that I have and to make the friends that I have world over because of Facebook and the poetry community and the artist community. So just been very, very blessed and grateful for all of them in my life.
No, that's so nice. I think so fortunate to have like the right support system,
Exactly.
yeah, and I think that's a revelation. That means that you are telling to the world about muscular dystrophy, or even I think we are thankful that you're telling in humans of atypical. So I think for us it's extra special.
Right.
No, that's actually very fascinating for me. But in terms of your school friends, you never felt discriminated against, or it was a very rosy childhood, or
Not really, I wouldn't call it rosy. Of course, I did have my challenges, but I had people to fall back on. So, I could count on them. And of course, I had my ups and downs like all of us do, but I didn't let that get the better of me,
okay.
so yeah.
No, in fact, so since you mentioned about progressive conditions, I think I was just resonating with my progressive condition of
Right,
retinitis pigmentosa. So
right,
very similar, though different disabilities.
right.
So, and how was your journey with art? Like first poetry and then art. Is it like just your way of self-expression? Because you seem very creative, and maybe that art is a natural extension of yourself.
Yeah, so I love abstract art, Vineet. I can't draw portraits, or I can't draw something realistic for the life of me. So the thing I naturally gravitated toward was abstract art, and I'm self-taught for the most part. I learned from people on YouTube, and I adored work by a couple of these artists, including Adele Cyberston, Jane Davies, Tiffany of Southern Girls Designs, Nicholas Wilton. So all of these people, I've attended their workshops, Janet Gollard recently. So, they've just taught me so much in terms of finding my own style and my own voice, and just doing things that I love, even if it doesn't really make sense to anyone else. Because with abstract painting, it's all about, literally beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So, it's not something concrete and or like a still life or whatever it is. So I love exploring this liminal space between poetry and art, which is where I started making collages and visual poetry. So that's where my love for these two forms came together. And you can find more of my work on shlokashankar.com. And also, there are a couple of 5x5 prints behind me. So, which are examples of,
Wow.
yeah, of the visual poems I was
And
talking.
also snap up at atypical.
Yes,
Some of the works are also displayed here.
yes.
Yeah. No, that's in fact the first thing, when you created your profile or you reached out to Atypical Advantage. For me personally, we wanted to showcase, especially, a lot of people have these notion that people with disabilities cannot have different professions. Like you are an editor, you are a poet. So for me, that was very interesting, because if you see the current discourse around disability or current skill set also, no one would be even aware about poets, or or even an editor being a person with disability. Though the discourse obviously should not be linked to disability, but at the same time, I think anyone can be the best versions of themselves, and you are a perfect role model of that. And for me, that was uh, an eye opener, because I had, first of all, never met a poet or even an editor. Uh, because even I'm very sure, considering the mainstream discourses, there are very few people who are pursuing what you are doing, Shloka, and that is something interesting. And that is what we aim to raise awareness about, saying that anyone can be the best versions. You can be a singer, you can be an artist. If you look at the platform, also the platform speaks about different kinds of talent, and that is an eye opener for corporates. For example, when they see incredible models with disability on a platform, they get stunned. Oh, there are so many in our country. Uh, so that is what we aim to do. But
Right.
Shloka, any message for people with disability who would be watching, or parents of people with disability who are watching this? Any one instance which you would like to share in your life and your learnings till now?
Um, you just have to keep going with it, because it's just taking it one day at a time. And especially in cases like yours and mine, uh, our day-to-day challenges itself are so damn huge. They seem Herculean to a large extent. So just getting that, chipping away at that block slowly but surely, and just realizing that, there will be some light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully. And even if there isn't, it's okay, because I'm still living my life to the fullest in the best way I possibly can. Right. And also extremely grateful to my parents, because they've been my backbone, quite literally and metaphorically, and on every level possible. Right. So I just think that you just need to moving on with full steam ahead. And yeah, I think we are made of steel. So
No, I can completely resonate with this. And in fact, I had a personal question. Uh, what do you do in your so-called, let's say, the lowest moments or the saddest part? I think everyone has ups and downs.
right.
Any special recommendation, when your life is, let's say, at the lowest point, or and anything which you do which we can follow and learn from that?
I quickly just pick up WhatsApp and have a chat with someone. Like, incidentally, it happened even today. Funnily enough, about in the afternoon, I was little down, and then I spoke to this friend of mine called Chidambar, and he's like this kid brother of mine. He's 10 years younger than me, but I bully him left, right, and center. But he's just pick up the phone and just talk it out and rant. Just rant immediately, and then you'll be fine and you'll get over it. And I also take a nap. That helps. If all else fails, just hit the pillow.
No,
Yeah,
I think very interesting solutions and practical ones indeed.
yeah.
Like rather than I initially thought that maybe you could give some philosophical explanation through your poetry, uh, and so and any poem which is coming to you right now, especially for people who are like thinking about their disability or thinking low. Any
Okay, so
poem?
I have this poem which recently won third place in a contest, Vineet. It's a haiku. So this is how it goes. Mango blossom. What if every day was a red letter day? Mango blossom. What if every day was a red letter day? So the idea behind this is that red letter days are something which is supposed to be like a high point in your life, or something very memorable, or monumental in your life, so to speak. That's a red letter day. But what if something as innocuous as viewing a mango blossom is also a red letter day? Why can't we just take every little thing that happens to us and turn it into something special? So I feel that once you start viewing life through a different lens, and you start seeing the gifts, and you're just grateful, and you practice gratitude in every way you can, things definitely get better.
Yeah, I think this is, I think you hit the nail on the head, Shloka. I think this is the essence of life. I think being gratitude every moment, every day,
Yes,
and just
absolutely.
practice that daily in your lives. I
Yes.
think this is like a Buddha feeling. Shloka, you've cracked the code of life. Not joking, but
Very
I
zen.
think that is I think the truth. So, thank you, Shloka, for coming and sharing with so joy and so lucidly. Like we can just feel that in your expressions, that joy, the warmth, the energy.
Thank you,
So
Vineet.
it,
Thank you
it
so
is
much.
actually a joy hosting you. And
It's a
I
pleasure having been here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad.
and yeah, and we can like just understand you at some level, and with the story which you started initially, you made it look like simple. I think in life we complicate too many things with too many factors. And as you told, from your childhood you were fortunate with having the right support system, the right school, the right mentoring, the right parents, and how you started with poetry and then art with your way of self expression, and maybe probably your gift to this world. That is how I look at your journey being. And the thing which stays with me, and I'm perhaps a lot of people who are listening, is be in gratitude like Shloka, be happy. And whenever you're low, just call your best friend over WhatsApp or take a nap. I think a very practical solution. So thank you for coming, and see you next time, next week, same time,
Yes.
on Humans of Atypical with another incredible personality. Thank you,
Thanks for
Shloka.
this, Vineet. Thanks a lot.